Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight on our news.
The Prime Minister responds to his critics concerning his stance on the sale of Bahamar.
The Minnis administration is set to reveal more shocking revelations.
A PLP senator defends the party's former leader.
Will residents in Bain and Grantstown give us an inside look at their living conditions?
Our news is brought to you by Alive, the nation's newest and best LTE network.
Good to be alive.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina McNeil. Former Minister of National Security, Dr. Bernard Nottage, has passed away. A family representative has confirmed that Dr. Nottage died at 6:31 p.m. this evening at Cleveland Clinic in Florida with his wife, his children, his daughter-in-law, and several close family friends, as well as a bodyguard at his bedside. Kyle Joaquin visited PLP headquarters this evening and tells us more.
An emotional night here at the headquarters of Dr. Bernard Nottage as friends and teary-eyed supporters come in to remember the man they say did a lot for the country. Tears flowed down the faces of supporters and friends of Dr. Bernard Nottage in what once served as his constituency office in Bain and Grantstown. Moments after the former National Security Minister passed away in Cleveland Clinic in Florida, supporters began flocking to his headquarters where they held on to each other and sat in silence. When our news arrived, Baintown residents had just begun lining outside the building as PLP Senator Fred Mitchell pulled up. He later sent a statement calling Dr. Nottage a patriot who loved the Bahamas and said he was grateful to have known him. Over at PLP headquarters on Farrington Road, a closed constitutional meeting was ongoing, but former PLP Senator Alex Storr said he couldn't pass up the opportunity to give brief words on a man he looked up to.
He will be missed sorely. His organizational skills, the wealth of knowledge that he has. I mean, he was a genuine, one of the, we call the pillars of the party. He's been here from the 80s, and he's somebody that'll be sorely missed.
Storr said he first met Nottage when Nottage was health minister and spoke at his graduation. And he said when he joined politics, there was one man he looked up to.
During the two by-elections, the one in Elizabeth and the one in North Abaco, I served as his deputy coordinator. And so I got a chance to work with him closely, saw the high level of organizational skills that he had, and I kind of emulated that. Some things I saw him did, I used it on my behalf when I eventually became a candidate. So I worked closely with him. I had a lot of respect for him and admiration for him.
Other party members sending well wishes for the former cabinet minister, athlete, doctor, and businessman.
No matter what side of the political road any person may stand on, we can all come together and say that, Bernard Nottage was a figure in this country. When he spoke, persons listened. When he led, persons followed. And as a young person, we aspire to leave that type of dent in the Bahamas.
Without a doubt, he would be missed within the party, but the party is a strong one. We will pay our respects to him. We will give him his due, but we'll also celebrate his life and his accomplishments to the country and also to the Progressive Liberal Party.
A host of other MPs and senators also sharing condolences on social media. Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis releasing a statement saying our patriot, brother, and friend BJ has finished the race. He has passed the baton on to a new generation of Bahamians. His commitment, caring, and all-around good nature will be missed. Now, as you can see, the crowd is starting to build up. It's obviously going to be a very long night here at Dr. Nottage's headquarters, but our news will have more on the passing of Dr. Nottage in tomorrow night's newscast. But for now, reporting from Dr. Nottage's headquarters for our news, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
His political and medical careers spanned decades. Our news' Vonique Toot takes a look back at the man, the politician, the doctor, affectionately known as Dr. B.J. Nottage.
Dr. Bernard Nottage danced through life with a passion and vigor unmatched by many. Whether it was politics, medicine, or sports, BJ, as he was affectionately called, did nothing by half measure. He was a top athlete who used his extraordinary talent to help bring the Carifta Games to the Bahamas. An esteemed doctor by profession, Nottage was responsible for the safe delivery of thousands of babies and often pledged to use those same hands to deliver a better life for Bahamians.
Come on, man, I feel good. Do you all feel good? James Brown used to sing a song. I feel good. I know it's... Am I right? You all want to join me with it? But that's just how I feel.
Nottage joined the Progressive Liberal Party but left the party to form the now defunct Coalition for Democratic Reform after he lost a leadership battle to Perry Christie. Nottage then returned to the PLP during its 49th National Convention in 2005 and was later appointed Minister of Health. However, after the PLP lost the 2007 election, Nottage challenged Christie's leadership once again in 2009, asserting the PLP was experiencing a crisis of confidence. Despite their differences, Christie and Nottage banded together ahead of the party's 2012 election victory.
I have no issues with his leadership whatsoever.
Nottage was appointed Minister of National Security and was credited with facilitating the launch of the Citizen Security and Justice Program, which aims to target the complex and diverse factors driving crime in the Bahamas.
I was tasked with perhaps one of the most challenging cabinet positions, that of Minister of National Security.
Nottage also served as a Member of Parliament for Bainstown and Grantstown, recently celebrating a dip in criminal activity in that inner-city community.
Here we are in Bain and Grantstown, where there has not been any violent crime for the last 31 days.
In the run-up to the May 10th election, Nottage pledged to introduce a new program called Renovating Bainstown and Grantstown, aimed at increasing home ownership, creating job training programs, setting up a fee waiver for students sitting national exams, and more.
I am happy to be the representative of a wonderful group of intelligent, resourceful, and proud Bahamians who reside in the great constituency of Bain and Grantstown.
However, he lost his Baintown and Grantstown seat to the Free National Movement's candidate. Following the party's devastating loss, Nottage returned to private life. It would be the last Bahamian saw of him before his death. Nottage is survived by Portia Nottage, with whom he has 2 sons. He was a member of the Anglican Church. Reporting for our News, I'm Vonique Tude.
In other news, amid confusion surrounding government's position on the sale of Baha Mar, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis insisting today he has no intention of interfering with the transaction and fully plans to follow the law. Here's Kyle Joaquin.
In an interview with our News Wednesday morning, Prime Minister Minnis indicated that the government was not going to interfere with the Baha Mar sale. He said that his administration is a law-abiding government that will follow the law. This comes one day after Press Secretary to the Prime Minister, Anthony Newbold, told reporters during a press conference that the entire situation was being evaluated. He said at the time, Minnis had no official reaction to former Baha Mar developer Socrates Merlin's request for a moratorium on the Baha Mar sale. Well, as Minnis proceeded to leave Parliament, we sought to get further clarification on his position. The Prime Minister, obviously not interested in commenting on the issue any further, gave very brief responses when asked questions concerning the sale of Baha Mar.
I've told you over and over, I don't know what about the English language you don't understand. The government, just like the Bahamian people, we want to see Baha Mar functioning to provide jobs and opportunities for Bahamians. And we'll work towards that goal.
And when pressed further on all that has transpired, here was Minnis' response.
I've answered you. I told you our position. We would like to see Baha Mar opened and provide job opportunities for Bahamians.
Former Baha Mar developer Socrates Merlin on Sunday called on the Minnis administration to place a moratorium on the completion of any sale of the Cable Beach project and other related transactions. Ismerlian, through his company BMD Holdings Limited, also wants officials to reopen the casino license investigation and report the findings of the gaming board. His requests, according to the opposition, are cause for concern, particularly after some questioned his attendance at Minnis' swearing in as Prime Minister, as well as the official opening of Parliament. Minnis has faced backlash over what some have called his shift on the Baha Mar issue. While on the campaign trail, the F&M leader made several statements regarding Baha Mar's sale, from saying the heads of agreement has disastrous provisions that will impact the country for years to come, to calling it a sweetheart deal. He also pledged to execute a real sale of Baha Mar to a purchaser with the people's interests at heart. However, Attorney General Carl Bethel revealed last week that there is in fact no need for the new administration to go back on the recently unsealed Baha Mar deal, as there is nothing objectionable or questionable in it. And with some calling the government's stance a shift, Minnis appeared unfazed.
I've been criticized for 5 years on many things, so that's nothing new. Thank you.
Our news team understands that Ismerlian met with the new Prime Minister last week, but his press secretary has said he is not aware of that. For our news, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Well, 21 people are set to be let go at the National Insurance Board. Minister of State for the Public Service and National Insurance, Brensel Roll, confirming today in the House of Assembly after the issue was brought up by Engliston Member of Parliament Glenys Hanna Martin.
I am advised that the National Insurance Board is about to terminate 21 people. And I'm wondering, sorry? People. I'm wondering whether they're able to verify that. And if so, they could tell us the circumstances. The concern is that, there's a lot of apprehension about what will happen with the change of government. And we're now hearing that 21 people will be let go at the National Insurance Board. And I'm wondering whether we can get clarity on that, because everybody has a family and then it mushrooms out into the wider community.
We have a commitment to the Bahamian people that we will not victimize them, neither would we replace 21 PLPs like they did with 21 FNMs.
When asked for further clarification, Roll said the issue isn't political, but the employees' contracts are coming to an end, and the NIB director is deciding who, if any, should have their contract renewed.
The director of NIB is just following the normal procedure of any officer or any director since these contracts have come to an end. She is honoring the contract by allowing the workers to go home. I don't see that as a political issue. That's certainly an administrative issue. And I was concerned that the context in which it was raised was suggesting that the FNM was terminating, the FNM was firing. That's not the case.
Meanwhile, House Speaker Halston Moultrie says he has received notice from the Court of Appeal that the matter regarding Save the Bays members and former MPs Jerome Fitzgerald and Fred Mitchell has been withdrawn and dismissed. He told Parliament this morning that the notice also stated that the question of costs will be dealt with.
And I'm also in receipt of a letter from the Attorney General office making certain requests with respect to this appeal of the Speaker. I have not yet responded to the letter, but I just wish Parliament to be notified that I am in receipt of the letter making certain requests.
Well, opposition leader Philip Davis asked that the House Speaker lay all the documents and communication on the table, as there are two important points in them. However, the House Speaker says it would be best that he get legal advice before he makes such a decision.
I have been provided with the ruling of the Honorable Judge in the Supreme Court. And having read it over the weekend, I'm satisfied that I shouldn't make a premature ruling without independent legal advice.
I accept that, Mr. Speaker. It's just that we ought to be as transparent as possible on this issue because of as I said, the constitutional importance of what you have raised, the separation of power. And I would invite you to seriously consider that document is not a personal document to you, but as Speaker, you ought to share it with members of Parliament.
Well, there are more shocking revelations to come concerning the deals made by the former Christie administration. That's according to Minister of Financial Services, Trade and Industry, Brent Simonet, who says the Minnis administration is still getting bills for millions of dollars from deals and contracts executed by the former government. Jasmine Brown has the details in this report.
Simonet says that the Bahamian people believe the revelations over the last few weeks were shocking. He says they haven't seen anything yet.
There's still some shocks to come, and you'll hear about them in the weeks and months ahead.
Shocks about spending?
Just shocks. Okay, shocks.
Simonet spoke with reporters this morning on the sidelines of a Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation Meet the Minister Power breakfast that was held at Super Club's Breezes. Since coming to office, the Minnis administration has revealed a number of bombshells insisting the former government mismanaged the country's finances and affairs. Many of those revelations came during the budget debate in the House of Assembly, including the $8 million in contracts awarded to a single vendor operating 4 companies. Well, according to Simonette, they're not done yet, as the bills are still coming in. Simonette says one such bill came in just yesterday.
Even yesterday, for instance, a minister was telling me about a bill that turned up for some millions of dollars. So every day we're seeing that type of issue.
One of the areas of concern for the government is the execution of public-private partnership agreements. Simonette says the Minnis administration is reviewing the PPPs signed by the Christie administration.
One of the things we're looking at is to see the existing PPPs, what they're relating to, were they properly executed, was the government getting value for money, and so on and so forth, because in some cases they were executed the day before the election in a manner that is not traditional in the normal way governments act, like i.e. a cabinet approval. This is a very serious problem where traditionally, it's difficult to get any contract approved by government, and some of these agreements have been approved without even going to cabinet. In some cases, those are issues that bring questions as to serious governance by the former administration.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
One Progressive Liberal Party senator says he will not be joining others who've blamed former party leader Perry Christie for the PLP's loss at the polls last month. Giorgio Bain tells us more.
During his contribution to the budget debate in the upper chamber, Progressive Liberal Party Senator Fred Mitchell said he won't join in on the parade of others who have trampled on the name of the former Prime Minister Perry Christie. According to Mitchell, Christie has already accepted responsibility for the party's election defeat, and he won't pile on to the criticism. Mitchell made those comments on the heels of PLP Exuma and Ragged Island MP Chester Cooper's assertion that Christie was a hard sell to voters.
We sought to fight as hard as the Dickens under Perry Christie, a name that is now much reviled and trampled upon and piled on. But I'm not joining that parade. The fact is, there is much to recommend the work that he did. Like all of us, he had his faults, and he has accepted unequivocally that the election loss is laid at his feet. So I'm not going behind that or rehashing it.
Former Tall Pines MP Leslie Miller has also blamed Christie for the party's 2017 loss. Miller said he experienced difficulties campaigning because many persons would inform him that they liked him but could not support his then leader. Mitchell said he doesn't want PLPs to become discouraged or to believe that there was anything apocalyptic about their loss.
I sent a private message to PLPs who were despairing to tell them that they should stop wringing their hands. What has happened in the general election is neither messianic nor apocalyptic. It is simply an election. You win some and you lose some.
Mitchell also cautioned new members of Parliament.
I've also sought to caution those who were getting carried away in their hubris that 2,500 people or more voted for them to sit in a 200-year-old building that is falling apart. That the Constitution requires only these minimal requirements. That you're a Bahamian, that you're at least 21 years of age, that you're of sound mind, and that you're not a bankrupt. That is a simple qualification for an MP, no more or less. And that means anyone, literally anyone, can be a member of Parliament.
Christie resigned following the party's loss. The former Prime Minister held his Centerville seat for 40 consecutive years before losing by 4 votes. Reporting for Our News, I'm Giorgio Bain.
Still to come on Our News, what it's like to use an outdoor toilet in a modern Bahamas. That and more when Our News returns.